Okay, we're live. This is a special edition of the Podcastle Set Jetter Saturdays. Thank you all for joining us. I'm here with Robert Patterson, as always. As always, check out his website at setjetter.com. And today, the talk everywhere is, of course, the wildfires here in Los Angeles. And before we begin, Robert, I just want to thank you and everyone for reaching out and your well wishes. We faced death basically in the eye last night. The fire is only 3 miles right now from where I am, and I just my heart and everything goes to the firefighters because they were proactively digging ditches and trying to stop that fire from getting to where I am. I'm in Tarzana, and it's a medical town. There's a hospital here, and basically, if you lose that barrier of the mountains to Ventura, you lost the valley because it's just going to go. So
Mhm.
they're literally fighting to save the city, and hats off to them. So
Yeah. Now,
thank
I
you.
know the evacuation zone is getting closer to you. I think you'll be okay for this one, but it's
Yeah,
getting closer.
thankfully.
So be
Yeah, we
safe.
we we have everything ready to go, and encourage people to have a plan, and obviously have your things that you can take with you, and get ready to get out of Dodge if need be. So we're keeping an eye on it now. But we're going to just do a regular show tonight, but we want to encourage people to donate. I'll share these in the link below if you're watching. And if you're listening at a later time, just check out the description. Um, but the three of the big ones that officials are kind of pivoting towards asking people to donate to are the California Fire Foundation. They're a supplemental foundation that helps get the firefighters the things they need. You can check them out at cpf.salsalabs.org or just Google California Fire Foundation. Their link is cafirefoundation.org, as well as on social media. And then go to American Red Cross. They're accepting donations right now. redcross.org/donate will take you there. And then for our animal friends, the Pasadena Humane Society, they're the ones, they're kind of the focal point for the fires west of here. But they've had an extraordinary amount of animals. The last time I checked, it was like 300 were surrendered. And you can donate to them at pasadenahumane.org. And then the Los Angeles Fire Department Foundation, which is different than the California Fire Foundation, support lafd.org. And one more thing, just sorry to ramble, but the latest I've heard through my sources here in Tarzana is that Station 93, they have enough donations and supplies right now. Of course, you're always welcome to drop off more, but the other fire stations towards Woodland Hills and Encino, and I'll provide those exact numbers when I can, are in more use of waters and things like that right now. So Station 93, Tarzana, they're very grateful, but they're okay right now. But we'll keep you posted.
Now,
So
these firefighters have been going literally nonstop, and it's not just Los Angeles firefighters. I've seen Idaho, I think up the coast. I think I saw Oregon, uh, Mexico. I mean, just all over the states. Kind of Canada bringing their super scoopers, which I know somebody was flying
oh
a
yeah,
drone and temporarily took one of those out. But yeah,
jeez.
but it's been a 24/7 for them, and some of those. If you don't see the videos, their water drops are so focused and specific. I'm amazed how much they can do, very specifically, especially in out of like was it the
Oh yeah.
DC-10s? These planes that they carry a lot of water, but they have it dropped so specifically. It's pretty amazing.
It really is. When you watch those videos where there's some, that have like I guess it's from another aircraft or something. They show the aerial shot above the DC-10s and just the precision. I mean, it's not like dropping a bomb where you're going to hit. There's going to be damage no matter what. They only have one chance per drop to get it right, and like the precision of these guys, men and women, it's amazing. And yeah, you're right. They're just working around the clock. There's no break. And yeah, you just see the video of them in the hills, in the trenches, like trying to stop the fires from coming over. And the thing that is the most extraordinary about this whole thing in terms of the fire, or their hurricane winds. The one day, the Wednesday, it was 100-mile-per-hour winds they clocked. I mean, it's like fighting fires in a hurricane. It's just the fire. One of the battalion chiefs on the news was saying in his 36 years he's never seen anything like these winds, and that's scary. And I've
Yeah.
been here for 15 years. I have never seen anything like this. But my wife and my friends and my neighbors who have lived here their whole lives said, aside from the 94 quake, they've never seen anything this scary. So
Well,
it's wild.
yeah, even that quake did not have this level of devastation. Uh,
Right. Yeah.
to obviously
Right.
homes, and I mean, I know there's, I think it's past 10 to 12,000 structures, meaning homes and businesses. So on one hand, I can't imagine it'll be decades before it's rebuilt, um,
Hmm.
um, or how it will be rebuilt as well. So and I've been I probably watch more KTLA than LA people do, but
Oh
I've
yeah,
been
you do. You've been saying that this whole time. You're on Kate, and I think about you too because I go to like ABC 7, and then I'm like, I think Robert is on to something because KTLA seems like it's better,
yeah, maybe that, yeah. So and I
like
was
more
supposed to be out
informed.
there today, obviously this weekend, but I canceled that early on. Uh,
Yeah.
one, I think once the some of the other fires started, and then one, I just knew I needed to give up my hotel room for displaced locals. But yeah, so I'm glad if you whatever you can donate to obviously any of the firefighter down foundations would be fantastic. Humane Society, American Red Cross. I probably have a special. So 30 years ago in a couple weeks will be an anniversary of my fire that I had from
Oh
in my
gosh,
apartment.
yeah. Forgot.
So and American Red Cross, I think, I mean, there were once fire's there, they're the second people there. So they have a lot on their hands, and so this is disasters are what they do. But even this level is beyond uh, some of their scope and capability. So whatever you can give to them would be fantastic.
Well said. Yeah. Yeah. No, of course. And I forgot that you were a victim of a fire in the past, and thankfully we haven't experienced that, and I pray that we don't because we're still not out of the woods. But I couldn't imagine losing everything, and just
It
devastating.
it puts things in perspective, and you realize things are just things. And watching some of the LA news, that people are like, this, you house is a house. It, it is what it is, and I'd rather lose a house than life and family members or pets. But it's hard to lose personal items that will just kind of be that'll be gone forever as well. But
Right. Yeah. No. No. Absolutely.
and there has been loss of life, and I know those numbers will continue to rise, but it's the numbers are at this point, I should say, surprisingly low based on the amount of
Yeah.
devastation. So I'm glad people heed the warnings and were able to get out. And I don't think people quite understand that this is hard to escape from. If you're not familiar with some of the LA areas, it is bottlenecks. And if you've been in LA traffic during normal times, you know what it's like, let alone when you are trying to escape when everybody else is also trying to go in the same direction. So it's amazing that as many people have got out as possible, as much as they did.
Nailed it. Yeah. You know that area. You've covered that in a lot of your work, and Pacific Palisades is like my if you were look at a map and say like what's the worst spot to have like a massive fire, it's like Malibu Palisades. There's one road out, the Pacific Coast Highway, and it's just not built. It was not built for that kind of traffic. And I mean, that's some of the issues they're saying with how the water wasn't. There's pressure. It's too early to really pinpoint that, but it's very difficult to get out of there. So, and just looking at the devastation, it's terrible. And we were talking about Robert, myself, and Brian, our friend of the show, who a lot of that stuff in Pacific Palisades, this high school from Cary, Jamie Lee Curtis's house. By the way, she pledged $1 million. God bless her,
Yep.
for relief
So
efforts.
the
It's just
Palisades, her house,
history.
her home survived. I know she's kind of right on the periphery, but she won't. Who knows when she'll be able to get back? But
It
she's
did
right next to
her home
some.
did survive?
She said her home did survive, but she can't get
Okay.
back to it, obviously.
Yeah.
But I know that kind of almost the adjacent neighborhood to her is where the Freaky Friday house, where that was her house in Freaky Friday, and you again. So that did not survive.
Oh,
And there's kind of a number of houses within there. So the Palisades High School, it looks like it did okay actually. So I know there's a lot of reports that it had. There were some reports that it was completely gone, and some say it says 30% damaged. And then I just saw a picture of kind of that area. And the high school looks
oh,
mostly intact. So I think that
oh,
might
yeah.
have actually been okay. So yeah, you just think the number of schools and churches where these I guess one of the silver linings of pandemic is that kids we know how to go remote. Uh, but
Yeah.
uh, but yeah, so are these some of the current pictures? So
Yeah, looks like it is
yeah,
still standing, Robert.
so it is, yeah. So hopefully it's salvageable. You never know between whatever kind of damage and smoke damage and so forth, but it certainly won't be ready to go anytime soon. But so yeah, obviously that was also used in Freaky Friday and
Oh,
Carrie
yeah.
and many films. So Carrie
Right.
actually used about three or four spots as their high school. So this was the one that's
Oh, okay.
best known for. It's the opening scenes where the volleyball and the football field and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, good call on that. Glad that's still standing, and, going back to what you said about it'll take decades to rebuild, like, it really will, and it's, like, forever changed. I always try to look at the good side of things, like, well, eventually this will happen. That's not really the case with this, but the one thing that I'm constantly, like, comes back to my mind is what you said about people, like, getting out. I mean, it's after Christmas, it's after the holidays, more people are home, it's we just there was just another fire, the Franklin fire in December that's
Mhm.
fresh in minds. People, like, really took this seriously early on and did get out, and, uh, obviously that number is gonna climb, but it's really amazing that it's only 11 people's, any number is horrible, but
Yeah.
really that they got out it's incredible that many people, like, were able to get out of there. You saw the reports too with the cars being abandoned and everything.
Hmm.
But it's like they still got out, and
Still work
it's
together.
very sad.
Steve Gutenberg's running around trying to move cars for people.
Right, he's trying to sign
Yeah.
autographs of Cocoon for that. Speaking of autographs, the Hollywood show, I was debating on going today, but I can't. I gotta be close to everything in case we
Oh
have to
yeah,
evacuate.
you're and it kind of seems, and for people that are, and we probably pay attention are, more than anybody, kind of because like literally every hour it changes again a little bit. Where a new fire now kind of in which canyon is it? Kind of next to you. It's kind of started up and so forth, and
Right.
unfortunately, and some of these are now arson started versus kind of nature made, which kind of makes it worse.
You're right.
But yeah, you have to be on guard, kind of at any moment to be able to go and have a
Yeah,
plan
yeah,
of where to go to, which keeps shrinking. Uh,
I know. It really
every,
does. Our
everybody will be in Orange County soon.
Yeah, our evacuation plan was, originally we just decided Simi, but we've we've moved that to Bakersfield just because that's guaranteed far. I mean, it's a hike, but
Yeah.
the map just keeps increasing, of the results, and
No. Yeah. Get to the desert. I don't know.
yeah, get out of Dodge. I head to, Omaha, Nebraska. Um,
Everything's fine here.
Everything's fine here. Well, let's jump into, some more sad news for everybody. We had some losses recently, Robert. Do you wanna I
Yeah, we
mean,
kind of we kind of did our in memoriam show like probably 2 days before the end of the year, and of course we probably should have known better that we actually had a few more that before December 31st. But obviously, Jimmy
right.
Carter, uh, 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 one just was he ended up being the longest living president?
He was, yeah,
Yeah,
longest living president for
yeah.
sure at 100.
So kind of his
Never
passing,
fired
and
a shot either. Like his presidency is debatable for either side, but he I'll just say I can't think of a president that had a better post presidency proactive life. I mean, he was just electric with that and never fired a shot in office. Didn't have any military conflict,
Mhm.
serious ones. Peace Accord, Camp David. I mean, I think he's one of the most underrated presidents ever.
I agree. He's one of those. I've been talking about some senators that are they're there for the right reasons than just political power reasons, and I feel like he was one of those. And then, but you're 100% right. He did more post presidency and probably was even more impactful, which
Hmm.
is unusual. But we also it was kind of younger presidents, and he was the first president I think I remember because I was
Oh, that's interesting.
at
That's
that
always cool.
age.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Uh, and then we got to see him. I actually shared some pictures that my dad sent me.
yeah. I'm trying to pull those up if I may.
Yeah, yeah, if you can. So he came to I think it was SAC. I don't think it was Eppley, but our Air Force Base, which is actually just a few miles from where I live now. But yeah, Air Force One. Not it was pre jumbo
Wow,
jet
that's
Air
pretty
Force One.
cool.
Yeah.
I
But and
feel
security
like
was a
you've
little
seen
bit.
Air
I mean,
Force One a lot. I feel
well,
like there's they show up a lot around you in
well,
Nebraska.
we do have Strategic Air Command here, so it does show up
Nice.
from time to time.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so and I think I remember. I don't know. I vividly. For some reason, I felt like I was my dad's shoulders or something like that while I was taking pictures as he was kind of coming through. So, but so
Yeah,
those
I'm
kind of
pulling
some of
that
the
up.
pictures that I shared with you. But yeah. So I'm glad I know he wanted to live long enough to vote, which was great. Um, and
Yeah,
Rosalind
it's
passed
special.
shortly before. Was it a year before, year or two? I can't remember.
Just
So
about. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, sure did.
So, but both of them, and they were. I mean, they were working for Humane Society, not Humane Society, Habitat for Humanity,
Big time.
up
Yeah.
until their 90s. Yeah. So
Yeah, very very proactive. Lived in the same house in Plains, Georgia. Their grandson spoke at the funeral and talked about just how it was with them, and they were very old school and just the real deal, very authentic. If you're watching our screen right now, this is Robert shared this. Robert, what is this right here? This is him in Nebraska.
yeah. So this was the article in the Omaha World Herald at the time. So, but yeah. So just kind of
Wow,
October 22nd, 1977. So I was a 7-year old, and this is my dad's picture of the Air Force One coming off the plane.
looks so
And
great.
yeah, so I'm gonna say security was a little different in the 70s, but
Yeah, yeah, but
there,
that's
there was still
exciting.
security. Yeah.
This is at Omaha International.
So I wish. Yeah. So this is Offutt Air Force Base. So this is Strategic Air Command in Bellevue. So which
Oh,
is now just I think probably what 3 or 4 miles from my house. So and
that's
there's the
amazing. Look at this
picture of
shot. Look how
yeah.
close he is.
So yeah, we were right there. So I
Wow,
don't remember if I don't think I shook his hand, but
that's amazing.
yeah.
That's really amazing. You know what else is amazing?
Mm.
These.
Oh yes,
This has
they're sitting
nothing to
right.
do
They're
with
sitting right
anything, but
behind me.
I got to plug it. You got these. Robert got the Reeboks from
Uh,
Alien Romulus.
I didn't, I couldn't get them because like literally, I think it was like a 3 seconds and they sold out when Alien Romulus when these Reeboks came out. So, and I know were people upset because these are dirty Reeboks that they kind of were
Yeah.
intentionally,
Some
uh,
people are like, if I'm going to spend $300, the
yeah,
shoes better not be dirty. I'm like, but they're not dirty. It's the
they're not
point.
dirty, but actually I might kind of wear these more occasionally because they're already dirty. So then I'm not too worried about
Oh,
messing
yeah.
them up. Maybe. Yeah.
That's one of the good things about it.
Yeah. So,
Would you be
but yeah,
worried about people thinking you're a filthy man by wearing those? Or do you think most
I,
people would know?
the
Because
right
I think
people.
they look cool as
Yeah.
they are. Like, you don't need to
Yeah.
explain.
I think the right people would know. Um, but
And that's all that matters.
yeah, I don't know. So this is the box they came in.
Oh,
And
nice.
so I'm not quite sure what the intent here is,
Oh, I
but you
love
can
your
kind of
shirt, by
see
the way. I
through it.
just noticed you're wearing the
Well, I'm wearing
Podcastle
of
shirt.
course I'm wearing the Podcastle, so I'm not quite
The
sure
great, the
this is
greatest.
supposed to be
Oh my gosh. Is that the
acid,
box?
whatever. Yeah, Reebok always
Wow.
has nice boxes for it. So, um, but uh, but yeah, so here they are.
Oh my gosh, those are so sharp.
Look at the Wayland Yutani logo.
So sharp. What size shoe do you wear?
10-ish.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good to know for
Yeah.
future reference.
If you want to buy me more Alien Reeboks,
I would
that's my
love to.
preferred size.
You do have the best shoe collection ever.
I do. I don't
That's
think I'm a shoe
true. I
person.
mean,
But apparently, yeah, I say that, and then I took a picture of my. You've seen my closet, and if you're like, oh, this is like a
it's
Sex
like a
in the
celebrity's
City closet.
closet.
Yeah, so,
No, it is. You have like a celebrity's closet. It's like all this stuff.
but
That's great. But yeah, those are really sharp. I'm glad you got those. Those are the Alien Romulus sneakers.
yes,
Are they comfortable or are they as expected?
I've
Like,
I've not tried them on yet, so
okay,
this is,
okay, we'll
I've been
find
too
out.
busy watching KTLA to.
KTLA going back, and the latest updates are Robert gets Romulus shoes. What is this?
I did,
Thanks for
yeah. See,
thanks for caring too. I know everyone knows you're a good soul, but
oh,
you're basically an honorary member of California. You're here a lot. You're here enough, and
yeah, I got,
this affects you too in a way. I mean,
I do,
really.
I got a lot of texts because people were not worried about me. They're like, oh, like,
Oh yeah,
um, and then, yeah. So it's been interesting, and especially as we, uh, we're losing filming locations like we talked about.
yep.
Sean Clark called me yesterday to
Mm,
one check in but he also knows that obviously this loss of personal homes and whatever and life is and pets are is the worst and nothing in comparison to losing filming locations. But just also beginning to catalog what's still there. And so today I just posted the apt pupil locations, which are mostly Altadena.
oh,
And
nice. We'll
I know
definitely go through those.
yes, we can go through that, but and then
Altadena, yeah.
some of the yeah, people started like, can you put together a list and so forth, but and it's going to be weeks
Oh,
before residents can even get in to see what's left. I know, but
it is. Yeah,
it'll be curious to see kind of what is left and so forth. But anyway, we'll continue
yeah,
on with our sad rest in
Y-
peace.
yeah, yeah. It is.
Rest.
Well, that is one of the things that makes LA so special. It's the filming industry, and we'll see what kind of toll that takes. But yeah. So Godspeed, Jimmy Carter. Really an American hero. Sorry to hear that. We also lost Olivia Hussey. Um, Beautiful, very talented actress. Our friend Mick Garris actually knew her. I didn't realize that, but he shared that. He's the one that
Yeah.
I think I saw the news from. Obviously, she's well known for a million things. I first saw her in Romeo and Juliet, the original, and she was
I
just such
think
a
that's where we
talented
all saw
actress.
her.
Right.
Was she underage? I think she was underage then, and there was some issue,
She
obviously.
had to be
Yeah,
because,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, it was. I remember we watched that. It was like one of those school movies when we were reading
Hmm.
Romeo and Juliet, and it was right around the time the DiCaprio one came out. And I remember our teacher, it was like eighth grade, was like, "Oh no, Olivia Hussey puts Claire Danes to shame. She just watch." And I'm like, "Really?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, this is a classic, beautiful."
Who could beat
Um,
Claire Danes?
I know, right? But
Uh,
yeah, Olivia Hussey was one of a kind.
yeah, and then of course she was the original Black Christmas, It, Psycho 4. So I think that's where uh, um, Mick Garris,
Psycho 4, yeah,
he
right.
because he directed Psycho 4 and so forth, and I think there's a couple other things, but yeah. So yeah, sad loss and still too young to be taken.
Yeah.
But
Was Olivia Hussey sick?
I think she was. We always have all the facts here.
We always have all the facts there. Yeah, yeah, 73
Yeah, yeah.
she passed away also in Black Christmas, and she was um died here in Los Angeles. Breast cancer was the cause, according to her publicist.
Good.
Um yeah, rest in peace. We also lost recently um
Linda Lavin.
Linda Lavin.
Yeah, so probably best known
Whew.
for Alice. I grew up with her as Alice, the TV show based on the movie Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore.
Right.
Eileen.
I thought about you right away too when that happened. I thought about you liking Alice and the theme song,
Oh, we yeah. I always
especially.
talk about I love the opening credits and
So good.
yeah, and she was just in No Good Deed on Netflix. So she played. I don't know if you've watched that.
I
So
did. Was she?
yeah,
Oh
she
yeah,
was one. She was kind of
right,
the nosy neighbor, and she was just in a few
right.
scenes.
She's snooping.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
yeah. So I didn't. But yeah. So also yeah, she seemed to be. I mean, she worked till the end, obviously, and I think she still has kind of one more film coming out this month as well. But yeah, so
oh
that was a sad loss. And then Jeff, I don't think it's pronounced Baena.
yeah, Jeff
So
Baena.
Baena is how you spell it. So and we actually saw. So we Aubrey Plaza's spouse, and then he was at Sundance where we saw Life After Beth, which he wrote and directed um, with Aubrey and so forth. So I remember
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen that film. So I think it's usually streaming. So really enjoyed
Hmm.
that film. I
Yeah.
think that was his first
M- Me too.
directing. Yeah, but yeah,
Exciting film too, and also I feel like kind of an underrated guy in terms of talent, and wanted a lot more. But that Jeff Baena really was surprising, threw me for a loop. Um,
yeah,
mental illness, depression, it does not discriminate for
it does
sure.
not. So thank you, Aaron. I know. Thank you. I know it is. Uh,
Thanks,
the,
Aaron. I know
yeah,
that's for sure real. Aaron's nerd stuff. Go ahead, Robert. I'm sorry.
yeah, where people kind of check. I mean, that's when I was talking to Sean Clark. People were checking out on him, and he's down in Orange County, so pretty far south. But people, if you don't know LA, you don't know, and LA is pretty expansive anyway. So
Yeah.
and sometimes they say, oh, this is the people have no idea where Runyon
Right.
Canyon is, or how close or far or anything is. But yeah, so it's nice people are looking out for you.
Yeah. For sure. For sure. Um, Marty York and Sean Kanan reached out as well and said, asked if we were okay, and they're friends of ours and friends of the show. And I just want to say thanks to you guys, for for reaching out and all your well wishes and everything like that.
Sorry,
Okay.
I hit a wrong button.
Oh, I thought I said something that offended you, and you
I
left
was like,
immediately.
I am out of here. Forgive
I
me.
am out of here. So yeah, rest in peace, to those folks. Certainly very sad. And we're going to jump into some good news for everybody. What you've been watching? I feel like we haven't done a show. This is the first show of the new year, and it's been a while. So we've been watching a lot of great things,
Surprise! And
right?
most of my watch list has literally been like a week ago because I've been nothing but KTLA
KTLA, yeah, me too.
every night. So
Right, right.
do you want? Let's start with you. I always start, so that you start this time.
Okay, that works. I watched Goldeneye.
And how now? Was this the first Pierce Brosnan one?
This is the
Bond.
first Pierce Brosnan
Okay.
one, and this is my favorite Bond movie because it's the first Bond movie I've ever seen, and I saw it opening weekend in the theater
Mhm.
with my dad, and never seen anything like it at the time. And you know what? It holds up. It really does.
Yeah.
It's got a really original story. The characters are tongue in cheek and funny, and they did a really good job. I mean, the locations are great, from the Siberian locations to Cuba. Um, with the dish they used in Contact and everything.
hmm
Um,
Which I think is
it's just fun.
disintegrated beyond. I
The
think that's
BMW
yeah.
Z3. Yeah. So, do you like
Um,
GoldenEye or uh,
I remember
that
I was kind of
era?
hesitant to see. So, and I was, I remember him obviously as Remington Steele, and then
Yeah,
he was tailor
that
made
was
to be
his.
the next James Bond, and he should have been at that time. But I don't think the Remington Steele people let him out of his contract. So, I felt he
You're right.
got there a little too late. But he would have been a perfect segue from Roger Moore because he still was funny or whatever, but not too serious before they did the Timothy. Timothy Dalton was too serious too early, and people didn't know what to do compared to kind of the James Bond we have now. But I remember at the time I was
You're
like, oh,
right.
I don't know. And then I remember I think during the trailer they showed the jump from the dam. And this is when there were still stunts happening in real life.
Yeah, that was a real guy.
Yeah. So I remember like, oh, that at that time it's like, oh, I want to see it because of that kind of pushed you over the edge to see it. So, but yeah, for the most part. But then I think I'm also tainted because then not too quickly we got to these. He made some bad ones after
Oh
that, or
yeah,
I remember they had some bad openings. What's the one where he's kind of he has
Tomorrow
a
Never Dies.
parasailing and stuff like that, and
Oh
it's
yeah, The World Is Not Enough.
whew,
Yeah, it's like a
it's just
15-minute opening, and he's like
yeah,
parasailing, and then he's on the boat, and then he's underwater fixing his tie.
yeah.
Christmas Jones.
Oh,
Oh
it's hard to disassociate, but yeah, I haven't watched
yeah,
GoldenEye in a while, but yeah, so
I like
that's
it.
still it's probably his best one. No, actually, I like Tomorrow Never Dies. I think is my
Tomorrow Never
favorite
Dies
one
is
of
good
his. Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Writing tomorrow's news today, Mr. Bond. So GoldenEye I rewatched. Yeah, I enjoyed
I was
it.
just thinking, newspapers in 2025, it's so relevant.
Right. I know. Oh, it's so good. I do like the Chinese aspect in there too. It's fun.
Well,
In
I mean,
Tomorrow Never Dies.
uh, Michelle Yeoh was
Great.
fantastic, and I
Great
thought
Bond
she
girl.
should have been the next Bond.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah. That would
I
that
like
would
them
make
as a
sense.
team rather than I say typical Christmas Jones Bond girl.
I know. How do you go from Michelle Yeoh to Denise Richards? I mean,
I
Michelle
don't
Yeoh's like
know.
kicking ass and on the back of the motorcycle and sexy and
Yeah,
action, and Christmas Jones is like, I'm a nuclear physicist. I'm like,
yeah, with her
actually,
short shorts.
you're not. Right. It's like Elizabeth Shue in The Saint, where she's like, I'm a nuclear physicist. You're like, you're
Well,
great no matter what you do, Elizabeth Shue, but I'm
but
not buying it. But anyway, GoldenEye was fun. I watched Defiance, um, the true story about the Jewish brothers in World War II that fought off the Nazis in Belarus.
gotcha.
Also with a Bond actor. Um,
Is
what
it
year was
Daniel
this?
Craig?
This was
Yeah,
19 or 2000. I want to say 2008.
gotcha.
About the Jewish brothers. Edward Zwick directed this. It takes a lot of cues from Glory, which I think was kind of the idea. Daniel Craig, Leaf Schreiber, Jamie Bell, and have you seen this one, Robert?
Of course, I have not.
Well, George McKay's in there, who also
Historical drama. Mm,
haven't seen.
mm, yeah,
It's a good movie. It's true, and it gives you what you want, like a Taken kind of when
yeah,
you want it. You're like, oh, like they killed this family. That's awful. And the next scene, he's like taking care of them. It's like they give you the guilty, pleasures right away,
yeah.
um, which is good. But it is a good it's a good story, true story,
Okay.
pretty incredible.
That's why I know it's a you movie, like based on a true story.
It's a
My
Matthew movie.
closest true
It's
story is the Amityville Horror, and that's not even true. So
great flick,
yeah, I know.
love it. And then I watched for the first time ever from my homework list, Dirty Dancing.
Oh, you say you never seen it.
Never seen it.
So, what did you think?
I loved it. I thought it was great. Thought
Yeah,
it's a true classic. Yeah. I mean, obviously there's things that didn't age well, and like there's some shots where Patrick Swayze's dancing with Jennifer Grey, and he's like lip singing the lyrics, like pretending to be funny, and you could tell it was like an off take. Um,
yeah.
I kind of cringed a little bit at some of that, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Um,
Well,
it
good.
makes you wanna. You didn't like it? You're not a fan?
Well, now I worked at the movie theater at the time, and so I
Oh,
think I
you work there?
saw yeah, but I
Nice.
just remember every
Oh,
showing
you
it
had
just
to
be
see it every night.
teenage girls crying and every leaving every show, and I was just like, what is the
Oh,
I
yeah.
I didn't understand the end. You could not escape that soundtrack that whole
No,
time.
no, that
It
was a
was just
beast.
yeah, it was like
Hungry eyes.
it was just like I was like I had enough of that. So and I just yeah, it's not my type of movie anyway. But
No, the
but yeah,
Borscht Belt. I logistically looking at that movie, that vacation kind of sucks. They're like, well, we're here at this resort for a week. Like that type of place is like a 3 day or maybe 2 days.
yeah.
But
That's
I'm
the
like, is this
vacations you
all
used to
taking
take
place
back.
over a week?
That's the
Like
vacations
he's
you
like,
used to
well, we're
take
leaving
back
Sunday.
then. Yeah, I
That's what
don't
you
know,
did.
but that's all they had to do was dancing.
The Dirty Dancing, I thought, like,
Mm,
that's a little ridiculous for 1963, but it's based on the writers growing up.
yeah,
Apparently, that was a
yeah.
thing. Like, Dirty Dancing it's like a Footloose kind of thing, like
Yeah,
very, but
yeah.
it
I
was
remember.
fun. I liked it.
I don't know. I did question. She didn't quite have 1963 hair because she still had her
No, no,
Ferris
neither did
Ferris
he.
Bueller hair.
Yeah. No, I thought the
But
same thing,
yeah,
Robert. I'm like, I don't know.
this hair doesn't seem period to me.
It does not. No. Hungry Eyes.
Then I didn't believe the
Um,
entire movie after that.
yeah, after that, it ruined it for me.
Mm,
But I checked off my homework list, my one item off my homework list.
okay.
So Dirty Dancing, I enjoyed. Okay, so I rewatched Gotti with Armand Arsanti, which is a 1996 HBO film. This is a great movie. It's basically a precursor to The Sopranos, like except for James Gandolfini, pretty much every major actor is in this, and they do a great job. But it's kind of like a dead film. You can't like stream it anywhere, and when you search it on, you know, Roku or Prime or whatever, it doesn't come up. You only get that John Travolta one, which is
I
awful.
That's why I thought that's the one you were going to say that you watched.
Ugh,
But
I've tried
but
to.
yeah, well, Matthew, there's probably a
I
reason.
can't.
They
I've
probably
tried to
know
watch the
you.
Gotti one with Travolta
Yeah,
3 times,
yeah.
and I cannot finish it. It's so bad. But
There's probably
this
somebody
one's great.
I'll just say there's somebody in control that will make sure that you don't watch this one, and that's why you can't find it.
That's what it is.
I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
Travolta's
And now they know
Scientology
that now
friends.
they know where you live. So
Now they know. Matthews disappeared. A Saturday Night Fever sticker was found at the scene. What?
yeah,
Why does
I
Travolta
don't know
carry
what
that?
happened. So
I don't know what happened. So Gotti 96 is a classic mobster movie. Armand Arsanti does a great job.
yeah,
William Forsythe's in there, and yeah, it's good. If you like The Sopranos, those kind of films, you'll love that. I rewatched Gladiator, which I was looking for Gladiator 2, and it wasn't like available yet, or it was like too expensive. So, stoking the fire on that with a little
mm,
Gladiator, which I
yeah.
love. I've always loved it. It's a classic.
I've not watched that in a long time. I remember obviously seeing it in the theater, and it was great at the time,
Yeah.
but I've not kind of
Best picture
revisited it
winner, I
since. So
think.
yeah, I love the soundtrack. I love the look of it.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah.
But yeah, Gladiator
When we
2 does not
were-
look. I'm sure once that hits HBO, we'll talk about that. But it does not look
You haven't
as
seen it?
enticing. No, no,
Okay.
no, I haven't. I'm sorry. I'll
You
say
weren't
that in public.
rushing out to
No,
see
I
that
haven't.
one?
No, just based on. And we had talked about when we saw the trailer. I'm like, speaking about not period, like uh, some of these actors don't seem to be in the same time period. It kind of got some Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure thing going where they're back in time.
Yeah. Right. You're absolutely right with that.
Yeah.
Who was the draw for Gladiator 2? Is it Denzel or Pablo Pascal? Like, were they
I
just
don't,
throwing them in there?
oh, I think it's probably Ridley just wanting just to
Yeah,
juice a
because he
little bit
directed
more
it.
money. Yeah. And I think, and it was sequel, 20 some years too late. They've,
Yeah.
they could have done something else, or I'm not quite sure. I don't know. There's different directions, and I shouldn't prejudge, but it
Oh,
obviously
judge
didn't
away,
get
baby. You're Robert Patterson.
it
You can do
didn't
whatever
get
you want.
very good reviews anyway. So we will rake it through the
No, it
coals
didn't.
once it's on streaming.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll keep ways to watch that, and we'll check it out. So wrapping up, what I've been watching was a Zone of Interest. This got great reviews. I think it's a foreign film. It's about the Goth, I think his name was. He was the head of the Auschwitz concentration camp.
Mm,
Um, but with the idea, the story, it's not like a one of the best films about that era, but I will say it did its job, and the purpose of this movie was to dehumanize the complacency of the German people around these horrors.
hmm
So basically, it shows they don't show anything really graphic in there. They just show the family of the guy that's running Auschwitz, the officer, and how his wife, they have purses that were taken from the camp, and they live their life like there's nothing wrong in the world going on. And they do this the whole time. And meanwhile, there's cues of what's happening in the camp. Like you hear screams at night and things, and she's just worried about getting the laundry done. And the movie kind of folds around that, and then at the end they just stop and show real footage of the camp, people cleaning it, all of the shoes that were there, and
Mhm.
it really gets you. It gets the heartstrings. But
Mm.
the purpose of the film was just to show how compliant people were and how they normalized what was happening for their everyday life,
And that
and like
never
how could
will
you do that?
happen.
And it
That will never happen again.
right? Let's never ever. I know
Everybody learned their lesson, and it never happened again.
we will never have sheepish people just doing
Yeah,
whatever they're told.
everybody learned their lesson. So,
Everybody learned their lesson. Um, you're right, but yeah, it's that kind of movie. It's heavy.
yeah.
And then I watched Godfather Part Two, which is a classic. A lot of dark movies on my list.
I
All
was gonna say,
Quiet on the Western Front, 1917. Well, I had the flu, so I was like
oh,
flu fever
is that your
dreams.
flu movies? I don't know.
Yeah, long epics.
And I'm shocked that Dirty Dancing made it into.
I know.
Was that or that was the flu movie? You had a fever, and you're like,
No, that
this.
was before.
Did
That's when I was
did
loving
you? Oh,
life.
okay. I thought
Yeah,
or you got confused. You thought it was a historical drama of some sort,
I thought it was a
and you're
biopic
like,
about.
shoot, this is not.
This is
This
not
is
what I
too
signed
light.
up
Yeah.
for. But
Uh,
yeah, and then All Quiet on the Western Front and 1917, two World War One movies, which I've always thought World War One was an underutilized part of history for film because everyone just does World War Two because it's more interesting. But World War One's over the last 10 years they've seen quite a bit, and
yeah.
it's scary to me because they all fought with gas in trenches and like, oh, it's just really bad. But that's what I've been watching. All great stuff, Robert. How about you, sir?
Well, good. And I want to shout out because I know you've been re-putting some of the nonprofits that we talked about,
Yes,
the Los
yes,
Angeles Fire Department Foundation. So just a reminder, please donate. Every little piece helps. We both work in
it sure
nonprofit, and
does.
we know that literally every dollar counts, especially during times like this. So, and uh, their their coffers will be soon empty uh, for the amount of supplies and stuff they need to get out there. So please give. So
Thank
yeah,
you,
you got a
Robert.
shout out for
Well
All
said.
Quiet on the Western Front.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you,
So
Aaron. Appreciate that. But yeah, please
usually
donate.
my
Thanks.
list is a lot lighter. So,
I love your
but
lists.
I know. So we did go see Nosferatu, um,
Oh,
and
yes.
I was wanting to not love it, but I was wanting to enjoy it, and I really didn't. And
You didn't enjoy it?
my
Oh no.
sister and friend did not quite either. So and my friend he's a huge fan of The Witch. So and I was kind of ready for it, and some people kind of really enjoyed it, and somebody at work stopped me and they're like, I can't believe you didn't love it. And I was like, it was
Really
it was kind of
interesting.
maybe hit some expectations, but it certainly did not exceed them. And then it looked great, but some of the
I heard
acting
it
was a little.
sounded great too. Like the sound mixing
Yeah,
was
yeah.
great. Was that did that stand out?
I would say yes, but it's also
Like you hear his voice around you.
it is. It might be a little overdone. There's some
Okay.
overacting that might be happening, but it also depends on a quiet. So if you're a fan of The Witch, there's also a high dependency on super quiet times too. So that's where you have to go to the
Okay.
Alamo, because otherwise, I can't imagine this film in a AMC talking theater or texting and
No,
so
can't do
forth,
it.
or people just babbling out loud to the screen. So,
Ugh.
so I thought it was fine. I wasn't bowled away like some people were, like literally best movie of the year, and I'm like, I
You
don't
weren't buying that.
know. I was not. So,
Did it
um,
feel like it was a like a remake that was a tribute to the original, or is it like? I guess what I'm trying to ask is, was it just a cash grab of like, let's just throw this on there, but it could have been another movie, or was it like a true
no, I would say it was a
nod?
true remake. Yeah, it was true. Yeah, because
Yeah.
everything was done right. There's nothing that necessarily I'd say was really done wrong. But I don't know. It just seemed kind of almost one note-ish. So nothing, not too much under the surface. So maybe I was just missing something. But
Okay. All
anyway,
right.
It was fine.
Good to know. Good to know because
Will will
I
not
do want to
will
check that
not be
out. But
buying it. Will not be buying it.
there it
Um,
is.
I did buy Squid Game. I not buy. I did watch Squid Game season two. I enjoyed the first one, but I thought, oh, I'll check out. It's an easy purge to kind of see what we're doing. It's hard to.
How did you feel
It,
about it?
it was sequelitis, so you're not really
Okay.
too concerned of like, oh, what's gonna, we know what tropes they're gonna kind of hit and so forth. So you can't capture that lightning in a bottle. And it ended in such a way that I just thought there was another episode. I'm like, oh, apparently that was a cliffhanger ending. So season three, but
That's it.
in typical Netflix mode, we will milk this dry.
Oh
But
gosh, yeah.
yeah, and it
You
should say
could
it's
tell.
Netflix. Obviously it is foreign based, but yeah, so which is
Yeah.
fine. So, but yeah, it
Yeah.
was watchable enough. So
It was
it's hard
watchable.
because yeah, the thing is these movies or series like this, there's you mostly hate most of the characters, so you don't want to say you're rooting for them for their demise, but it's hard to there's just some assholes on there that
You would
you're
like to see
like,
them
yeah, you're like, I
justice is served.
can't wait till they get it. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Okay.
but
All right. I because I haven't watched it yet. I was
yeah,
never, took the
yeah,
time.
you
So
just have to get. Now, I did watch the overdubbed version, so sometimes that kind of
mm,
makes it worse because it feels like there's
it does
overacting by the voice
sometimes. Yeah.
versus reading. But anyway,
I can't get
it is
past the
what it is.
sound of that when it's outside and it's clearly like an ADR
Yeah.
inside where it's just like, "What are you doing today?" And there's like winds going by, and you're like,
Like,
"Okay." Like Godzilla, they did that, and
yeah.
I'm like, "Okay."
But
But
yeah,
yeah,
there's
I'll
an
check it
older
out.
lady, yeah, that I feel like the actress kind of overdid it, but it's like, oh, we can find some more subtlety here, But it feels like people are doing radio drama acting, even though we're watching it.
Okay. All
Um,
right.
let's see.
Good to
I
know.
finished Interview with the Vampire season two,
Oh,
so not
that's
as good
right.
as
You
the
were
first
watching that.
season, but um, it was still pretty decent, and it is one of those that it's nice that they're able to take their time a little bit and kind of see things out. I still don't like necessarily the Lestat of this one, but the Louis is pretty good. So I will. I don't know if a season three has been greenlit or not,
I'm curious about that. Yeah.
and I
Okay.
think season one is now streaming on other platforms. But uh, but yeah. So
Is it?
I
I
don't know
see.
if you've watched season one yet, but I would say take a look at season one. So you
Okay.
quickly
Yeah, I
forget
know I
about
have
Brad
not. I
Pitt.
have not,
Yeah,
but you've mentioned that before, and
yeah,
I'm curious about it. So I think I will check it out.
yep.
Yeah.
So I
Okay.
watched Becoming Madonna. I don't
Oh,
know if I
nice.
mispronounce her name.
Because she's so great.
Yeah, it's like who this new singer.
I
So
read
this is
something
a
on her. I'm going to ask you later. I have a question about
okay.
her.
So it's a new documentary, and it kind of goes from her beginnings up till I think 84, 85, kind of right when she kind of hit uh, the like a virgin kind of era and stuff like that. So it is the early
Okay.
years. So and so yeah, I'm a Madonna fan. I obviously kind of grew up during that time, but I was also a little bit young. I think it was 13, 14 when the Like a Virgin album came out. So she was obviously on MTV and all that.
Yeah.
But still amazing when you kind of see all that kind of
She
put
reigns
together,
supreme.
how much she did at the time at such a young age, and just was a force to be reckoned with, and wasn't messing around. She's still not messing around. So
No, no, not at all. And that was also, she's a pioneer of that era, the MTV, um, pushing the boundary kind of era. Like she is one of a kind. Um,
and how slutty. So it's when they talk about when she sang Like a
My
Virgin
eyes are
to
burning.
apparently it was her first time singing that song
What, like
in
a virgin?
public. Yeah, and when on the MTV, I think their first video awards or something like that, and she came out on the cake and in a
Yeah.
bridal dress and kind of rolling around. And I do kind of remember it, but it was so risque. People were just
Yeah.
upset and now it's like literally. I mean, we see what we see on TV, and
Oh,
this
now
is
you can that's
nothing.
in a commercial for kids, but, like, yeah, then talking about pushing the envelope.
Yeah. So, but it was. I
Envelope.
mean, and I guess it went a little bit past that time because they had her marriage to Sean Penn and kind of that vol- volatility and her
Pre-Dick
wedding and
Tracy.
the speaking of Malibu, the helicopters, and they couldn't even hear their vows, and it was just
Oh
Craziness.
yeah. What does she?
But yeah,
Where does she live out here in Malibu?
I don't. Well, she used to live in Hidden Hills,
Hidden
but
Hills.
she
That's
sold
right.
that. And so I don't know. I don't think she has an LA place. Usually she stays with Guy Osiri when she's in LA. So,
Okay.
but
Oh,
yeah, she's
cool.
mostly New York, New York bound.
Nice. Okay.
So yeah, so that was good. I don't. That's only been released in the UK. I just happened to get a copy. So, but kind of
Yeah, I
pumped
know.
for that. So
I've poked at it a little bit.
I
I'll
did.
leave it
Yeah,
there, but it's
take a look.
thank you, Robert.
I watched the documentary "Don't Die: The Man Who Wants to Live Forever." So I think this was Netflix. Did you
Yeah,
watch it?
what
Are
is
you?
that?
So
No, I'm not. But somebody else mentioned that.
kind of a super rich guy that he's like, why do we have to
Brian
die?
Johnson.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and what can I do to my body to keep it going? And uh, how long can I prolong this? So he is unsurprisingly, he goes a little overboard and is doing kind of different things to his body and whatever. But he also
Yeah.
said he's probably added a few years to his life. So, but it all people, also say at what cost? What other parts have you given up in your life when you
Right.
do
Is it
all these
worth
other
it?
things just to yeah, and he also acknowledges, like, he's like, yeah, I know there's people that just like he's doing all this and they would think it would be fantastic if I got hit by the bus or something random, that you
Right.
do all, but it is
Yeah.
interesting, and it is one, if
Is
anything, a
it?
reminder of, our body. That's is it. We have to take care of our own bodies.
Yeah.
uh
Treat him like a
ig-
temple.
Ignore my diet the past 2 weeks, but
Hey, it's the
but yeah.
holidays. You're entitled to some Diet Cokes.
Yeah, but it's a little, I don't know, and the documentary, not, it's a little cultish, and he's selling things and stuff, but yeah, so it was kind of a, yeah, like, yeah, I need to be better, and then
Did you walk away with like that feeling? Like you want
for
to?
30 minutes, and then we go right to the
Okay.
donuts, like,
Yeah. Well, hey,
yeah,
Krispy Kremes aren't going to eat themselves.
maybe I'll get a 10 extra steps in today. Uh, but
Uh,
yeah, so anyway, oh, smiley
would you
face.
recommend it?
I would maybe recommend folding laundry for
Okay.
Don't Die. That you can do other
Okay.
things. You can come and go a little bit. So
All
you don't
right.
need to
All
be
right.
you don't need to be glued to the
I
screen.
will
So
do it in the heaven in the background.
yeah. Smiley Face, which I don't know if you're familiar with. It's an Anna Faris movie, directed by
Yes, John Krasinski's in it.
yeah, Greg
Yes.
Araki. So I can't remember. I just happened to come across it streaming, and I watch it every couple of years, and it still makes me laugh and laugh and laugh, and I don't
You know,
I don't know
I've
why.
never seen it. I know the film. It's a good movie. I'm gonna put it on my list.
I enjoy it, and then after I
Okay.
watched it, literally, I think the next day, I saw Vinegar Syndrome announce they're going to have the
Oh,
first Blu-ray of it. So
oh, sweet.
I pre-ordered immediately. So I'm so
Oh, I
excited
love it. I
to
love
see
Vinegar
that on
Syndrome. They're
Blu-ray.
such
So
good
yeah,
archivists.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I was like, yes. So I'm excited for
Smiley
that. So
face.
I will soon be doing. I think this month it comes out. I'll be doing a revisit of a Smiley Face. So
Oh,
if you're
cool.
not familiar, she's like
I'm gonna
she's a
watch it now.
pothead, and she kind of overdoes it and is trying to. It's a day in the life, and she's trying to kind of figure stuff out. So,
Oh, okay. Okay, cool.
but yeah. So
I'm gonna check it out.
Marion Ross is in it. I totally forgot, who I met at the Hollywood show a couple times ago.
Love Marion
Uh,
Ross.
Uh,
Or
but yeah,
love
so
her.
I watched that. And then the Laundromat. I rewatched that every once in a while. So have you seen that
No, I
with
have not.
Meryl Streep? So it's a
No.
2019 film, directed by Steven Soderbergh. And Steven Soderbergh is interesting because he directs such a not wide variety of kind of different movies, but he's just not, he does a lot with a lot of different casts and so forth. So
Okay.
it starts off with she becomes a widow, Meryl Streep, and then um, the insurance company for this, how they, I don't want to spoil anything because it kind of opens on how she lost her husband, but the insurance company found out it was just kind of a shell company, and so forth, and um, so
Oh.
Gary Oldman and Antonio Banderas kind of run the shell company. So it's kind of all these kind of non immediately connected things, and kind of how they kind of all kind of come together, and
Makes you
what
think
she
about
does.
that
Yeah, Meryl
setup.
actually plays a couple roles in it, and then
Oh, really?
during the last
Steven Soderbergh did this?
yeah, so that's where it's kind of a not what you would normally think for him, but
Yeah.
uh, I enjoyed. I think this was a original Netflix streaming,
Oh,
uh,
cool. I mean,
but
that's really
yeah.
cool.
So I would recommend it, and then and Meryl breaks the fourth wall at the last 2 minutes of the movie. So
Oh, really?
watch it till the end. Yeah. So
All right, I'm
definitely
gonna put this
enjoy
on my
that.
homework list to know what I'm talking about because
So
this
yeah,
looks
so
looks
then you can be
interesting.
part of the cool kids.
That's all I want to do, Robert.
Then I watched The Front Room,
Oh
which
yeah,
which is one of the newer films with Brandy,
yeah.
and where she has to take her mother-in-law
We watched that.
Solange. And did you watch it?
Yeah,
Or
yeah. We watched it.
yeah, okay.
This came
Um,
out a few months ago, right?
yeah, and I think it's
Yeah,
just now streaming and so forth.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah,
it was more amusing than I thought. Um,
yeah.
but and it was kind of like, it kind of seemed like it'd be a one note movie, but they kind of did a decent amount of kind of mixing it up. So, and it was also kind of short enough that it was
Yes,
like they didn't overstay their welcome. So it was better than I thought.
agreed.
I don't know if I'd really
I
call
I
it
liked it too. Yeah, and I do
a
like that
recommend.
what you said. They didn't overstay their welcome. It
Yeah,
was short and sweet, and to
yeah.
a degree.
So yeah. So and then I watched a couple of political movies. So Bob Roberts,
Bob
which
Roberts, who's your
I
dad?
think we had offline talked about. I don't think you're familiar with that, or you weren't. And so this was a 1992 film, written and directed by Tim Robbins and starred.
Oh yeah, I always hear
Tim,
great things
yeah.
about this movie.
So if you can find it to streaming to download. I'll just say that
Oh yeah, I
out
gotta
there.
watch this.
So
I
yeah,
always hear this is a good movie.
I have it on Laserdisc even. I think. So but yeah,
Do
one
you
of my
really?
favorite movie. Oh, 100%. So,
Oh, that's so cool.
uh, and it has just, I mean, there's some people that are just in one scenes. You know, we have Alan Rickman and Ray Wise and um, Helen Hunt and just a huge amount of people that sometimes they're just in one scene, but it has this huge cast in it. So
Oh,
Tom
cool.
Atkins is in it
Oh,
as
really?
yeah, and so yeah, it was just like
I love that.
it is good. Shot in Pennsylvania, I think most
Oh,
of the scene you should
Giancarlo Esposito's in there before he was
yeah.
anybody. Gore
Oh yeah.
Vidal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So but yeah, highly recommend Bob Roberts if you have not seen it. So
Oh, for sure.
so and then because I was kind of on that trajectory, I decided to watch Wag the Dog again. So
Wag the
which
dog.
I do enjoy Wag the Dog. It still makes me laugh, and I still enjoy
It is
Dustin
funny.
Hoffman more than I don't know. He kind of does it for. I mean,
Wait, you
he,
like Dustin Hoffman more in this?
I do. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I love his role. So him, and
Yeah.
obviously I love Anne Heche, but yeah. So, but yeah. So
That
that
is a
was
good
kind of
movie. I haven't seen that in a
yeah,
hot minute, but I've seen that a few times. That is it is fun.
but yeah. So I recommend
Yeah.
that. But usually Roberts, nobody has. People aren't quite as familiar with that. So
No, I gotta watch
yeah,
that. I've heard
yeah,
really good things about
yeah.
that.
And I'm
And
pretty
Tom
upset.
Atkins.
Yeah. And so and the as I was watching the movie, nobody had found or nobody had published because all right, for Dustin Hoffman's lives in this huge mansion in the hills. And I was like, where is that? And so I went on a hunt
Oh,
that night.
oh, the hunt of the
Yeah,
Sitcha.
and I finally found it. So and this is like a week and a half ago that I found it. Now, sure enough, it is literally right by Will Rogers State Park. So I
Oh,
think it is probably gone. I don't
yeah.
know, but yeah. So I found, and I would never be able to get to it because it has a huge private drive. But I was just excited to find it. So
Yeah. Yeah, no, great work finding that. That is exciting.
yeah, so that's what I've been
Hopefully
watching. All historical dramas for me. So
I love it. That's so cool. No, I love that stuff. I love that. You did great choices. Um, I also I wanted to bring up uh the last time I talked about the stand because we can't talk about
mm.
not have an episode without the stand. The steel book that I got.
Oh
I did watch
yes,
the special features. It's a
is it
behind the
new?
scenes. You've seen it, I think. It's not a new. There's nothing like. It's all archival, but it's behind the scenes of the making of the stand. But
Mm,
a lot of the stuff I haven't seen before. I thought. I've seen most of it, but it's like there's an interview with Stephen King, and then there's not so much interviews with Mick Garris, but they're showing behind the scenes of him directing and the Vegas sets and things like that. So it was interesting. It was really cool. It was worth that DVD is worth or
Worth it.
Blu-ray is worth the 19
Yeah,
bucks because it was really good buy, and I do like those special features.
good.
But it's cool. Yeah, I don't. Have you ever seen those behind the scenes?
I don't. I probably
I think it
did.
was in
I
the
know.
last release.
I need to relook at that so to see if I did. So I probably did, but
It's
I'll pull it
interesting.
out because I didn't buy the steelbook, but I bought when they did the upgrade. I think I bought that because I think
Okay,
I had
I
Gary
think you
Sinise
did. Yeah.
sign the DVD. Like I always do that where they sign something and then a new version comes out, and I was like,
Right.
do I
Right.
hold
What do
on
you
to the
do?
DVD? Yeah. So I have
I
like
think
this.
about you too when that
Yeah,
happens. I'm like, is Robert going to get this, or is he going to wait for
I
the
know.
8K or something? And
I know, but then I thought I was being smart by having, bringing DVD covers for them to sign. So I have like this great Carrie DVD signed by like Piper Laurie and PJ Stoles and whatever. But it's
oh,
like, it's DVD. It's like
yeah,
three platforms behind on,
I know. I know.
yeah. So I can't get rid of it, but
I feel that way with like video games too. I'm like
yeah,
3 platforms behind. I mean,
yeah,
that's different. I'm not going to buy like a new console, but
yeah.
it is interesting when you get into that. But yeah, the stand was pretty good. The special features. And speaking of Vinegar Syndrome, I was just checking out their site. Do you ever get do you get the remasters a lot on there, or do you just get it wherever it pops up, like the
It
4K Ultra stuff?
it kind of depends.
It
So
depends on
it kind of
like.
depends. So like sometimes Shout Factory has been they'll release a great
Mhm.
Blu-ray and then 8 months later they'll release the 4K. I was like, well, it's almost the same. Like so I don't
Yeah,
quite yeah. But
because I was wondering about that because you are like special things important to you where they're like, well, we're getting like a poster in this, or
well,
does it depend on what it is, or is it
it
because I know
kind
you're
of
like a collector, but
depends.
you're also like a real fan too
Yeah, every
of
once in a
stuff.
while, like I did finally splurge.
Nice.
And speaking of Shout Factory, to get the new three
Oh
disc
wow.
JFK.
Wait,
So
what are the three?
well, it's the
Blu-ray?
4K, so I don't even know what's all on here, but yeah. So
Oh my gosh.
the director's cut, the Blu-ray's director's cut, theatrical cut, and then they have a whole uh, Blu-ray for just special features and so forth. So which I think I've seen, but I just also want to. I
That's
had to
really
have it.
cool.
So
Great
so
great
see,
movie.
I buy historical stuff
You
too, but
do.
yeah,
You
but
do.
and speaking of vinegar syndrome, because you know what this
The
is,
Vinegar
but
Syndrome.
this is your birthday
Oh, is
present.
that for me?
Yeah,
Oh, I love
which
that.
you should
What could
recognize
it be? Yeah,
what this is. So it's
Robert,
ready.
good
It's ready
friend.
for you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so
Well, you
much.
were supposed to have it this weekend. You and
I
Brian were supposed to
know.
have your birthday
No
gifts
worries. I
or Christmas gifts, but
The important thing is we're all okay.
I know. So
And keep donating, folks. Check out the links. We have um, posted them, but American Red Cross certainly at the forefront of the aid here to individuals, victims impacted by the fire, and Pasadena Humane Society, pasadenahumane.org, Los Angeles Fire Department Foundation, and California Fire Foundation. And just check out the links in the description below, and please help if you can.
yeah.
But yeah, thank you, Robert. We're looking forward to all your Vinegar Syndrome
one
stuff.
one day. So and I know, and you promised me a Christmas present, but I don't think that's been released yet. So I can't remember who's
Yes.
doing foul play. Is that
Who's doing foul play?
yeah? That's what you promised me for Christmas, but
Oh yeah.
yeah,
The speaking of foul play, that and it is
oh,
foul
that's
play.
Kino Lorber.
Yeah, no, it's
Yeah,
not vinegar.
yeah.
It's foul play and my bodyguard.
Oh, is that coming
Um
out?
People we get more comments on that than anything recently. They love your pages on that and when we talked about those must have like hidden fans embedded in our listeners, but those two are like huge. People love
Yeah.
that stuff. So thanks all for and thanks Robert. Give Robert a shout out
Mm.
for he's the one that put these on our in our world.
What I love about and well, speaking of foul play, usually that Barry Manilow song, it's stuck in my head for weeks
Yeah.
as soon as I think about that movie or
It's like that
what
and Popeye.
yeah. But yeah, so and I love Vinegar Syndrome. I love Kino Lorber because they do go after these little ones that I might remember, and they're not even good movies. Like I know Kino Lorber did Up the Creek, which is a bad '80s comedy, but I was like, we remember it. So and
Yeah.
also it's stuff like nobody will touch, but the studios
No.
won't touch and won't be worth their time, but they know
Yeah.
somebody will watch it. So
Yeah. Oh, it's amazing. It's true. It's true. Somebody will watch it, and usually it's one of us, Robert. We
yes,
do the hard things so you don't have to. And finally, before we go today, it's time for the most favorite segment on this episode, a blind man's bluff with Robert Patterson. So this is our bread and butter. This is what makes us tick. Robert's work. That's how I know Robert, folks. If you're not familiar, I'm a fan of Robert's. I enjoy movie locations. There's a million sites out there, but Robert has the best one, and the world's aligned, and here we are, best friends. Um, so here's the description, Robert. Are you ready?
okay.
With the horrible fires happening this week, Los Angeles has been heavily on my mind.
Well, I know what this because I just wrote it. So
Altadena was severely hit and reminded me I visited some locations many years ago for apt pupil, but have yet to post them until today. Based on the story by Stephen King, the film was surrounded by controversy during production and never made much of an impact. Obviously, this isn't random generated, but it is appropriate. But this is my question to you, because you're the movie guy. Why it did create controversy? I remember that, and I remember I enjoyed the film. I've read the short story.
yeah.
Why didn't it make an impact? Because this is like one of those movies. One of those films. I feel like more people should have seen and known, and they just don't know it exists. Is it because of
Well, it
that?
is kind of it's not a entertaining story, I guess.
No, it's dark for sure.
So and it's just kind of like, and this was in different seasons, I think.
Hmm.
For Stephen King, which he had four stories, which all of them become movie. I mean, Stand by Me was called The Body,
Yeah,
and so it seemed on paper this is everything seemed right. We had Brad Renfro when he was
yeah,
at his, I
yeah.
say
He was
top,
off of the client, and
yeah. Um,
yeah,
Ian McKellen, who's always great.
yeah,
Ann Dowd is the mother in here, which Ann Dowd, she became, I mean, she's now more known for The Handmaid's Tale, uh, as
right.
I kind of forgot her name, but and
Yeah,
Bruce
no, you're
Bruce
right.
Davison, and so forth. So it has good cast. James Karen from Poltergeist is in it, so has
Yeah,
good cast. Bryan Singer was a established director, I should say, at the time.
at the time.
That he was just kind of moving up the cusp before he really got into his kind of X-Men phase and so forth. So so it should be, but it had some filming production issues because there was a shower scene and there were some underage
Yeah,
kids that might have been forced to be naked when they shouldn't have, obviously, and the parents and whatever. So and as we all know, Bryan Singer now has a lot of, I should say, dark clouds
yeah.
over him. So it's kind of, but that
No
was kind of one of
joke.
the first times that he was began to kind of get immersed with some kind of controversy. So that certainly did not help the film.
Good
And
call.
then kind of out of the gate, it's just a dark film, and it's just it's like I said, it's not a enjoyable watch necessarily. So I think that's why it's not kind of taken off. And while the acting good is, it's not like, say Stephen King's Dolores Claiborne, like
Right,
Kathy
right,
Bates
right.
acting just makes it,
Yeah,
and just kind of levels it up. But anyway, so I think
that's a
that
great answer. That
it's
really is.
it's
Thank
all
you.
those kind of things kind of together. So it's that probably like,
Yeah.
and nobody's like, hey, let's watch App Pupil tonight. You're like,
No, you're right.
anyway,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's like, let's watch,
yeah,
people are going to watch Stand By Me. People are going to watch The
yeah,
Shawshank
yeah.
Redemption, but
So, but yeah,
it's a
since
hard
we're
film.
on video, we can quickly go through some of these
Yeah, of course.
locations. Yeah,
Yes,
since
sir. Yes, sir.
I literally, yeah. So and some of these locations, I literally has been not quite 10 years since I've been to them.
Oh,
So
you owe no
y-
explanation,
yeah.
sir.
So the main house, and you can kind of see this is the best shot I could get. It was so overgrown.
I
This
can't
this
believe
is
you
my
found
shot.
it.
There's a house behind there that you cannot see. And then
Here is
this,
this. How yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, is it abandoned or something? It's,
No,
like,
that's
overgrown.
everything. No, somebody was there, but they just did not, obviously take
Wow.
care of it. So, and this last shot is actually from Google Street View because that actually had a better view. So this is how it looked like
Oh,
15 years ago.
yeah. No,
And you can
great
see it's
find,
just
though.
now overgrown kind of beyond then. So, but
Thank
yeah,
you.
so that's the main house, and then down the street there's this corner where he gets off the bus. So this isn't in movie order, but kind of location order, so you can kind of see it looks
Yeah, yeah,
relatively the same. So,
yeah.
so this whole area is right in the fire zone. So
It
I really
is.
would not be surprised if all of this is gone. So,
Oh, it's
um,
so sad. I
yeah,
really hope it's not,
yeah,
but yeah, that it certainly is right there in the thick of
yeah.
it. This is
So
Allen
the
Avenue?
yep, at liquor store. This is also it's not too far, so this is likely also gone. I don't have confirmation, but so this is kind of when he first gets on the bus. So
Right,
this is
right.
actually kind of goes up the scene, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. So the school.
Oh, yeah,
So
that's
this
close.
was it was Elliott Middle School, and then it became kind of something else, and I can't remember what the name called. So
Yeah.
this school has also been used in other films. And I know Rob Zombie's Halloween. They use the interiors of the school for the elementary school scenes.
Oh, okay.
So I had
Okay.
been by, and it's on the main Lake Avenue is kind of the main all the way through Pasadena. So this guy goes all the way up to the foothills. So if you're familiar
Yeah,
with Pasadena at all or Altadena, this is kind of the main thoroughfare. So
good call.
I was watching KTLA when on the adjacent or corner to this was a dojo, I think it was, and
Oh.
so the news was there, and they were like, and literally the dojo was literally just collapsing upon itself and so forth with fire, whatever.
Oh,
And
man.
they said at least the school is okay. And the camera pans over, and literally as soon as they said that, you could see smoke just starting to come up from the
Oh
school. I
my
was like,
gosh.
oh, and so I knew it was not. Unless there was no firefighters were right there, and then I kind of I didn't put a picture on the Facebook, but yeah, it's now just an empty shell. There's nothing left of this school,
Oh,
so
it's
which
so
is
sad. Yeah,
unfortunate.
I know a lot of the schools are gone there, and our friend Bryce and his kids go to school there, and the church burned down, and the schools are gone. I mean, they don't even know what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
It's really bad. So,
But yeah, so this
very
is
sad.
the school in Altadena. So this next part, and I literally only found this today because people could not find
Oh,
that. So it
wow.
ends on, well, his house in the film.
How'd you
Um,
find this
well,
gem?
here nobody could find it. So you could see 1500 address, and the
Yeah,
house across the street had 1499, and it looks like it's right at the bottom of the foothills, and so it seems like this should also be in Pasadena.
I would think so.
I
Yeah,
mean,
not
Altadena.
Westlake
Yeah.
Village.
And
Right.
so, or it should be in Monrovia or,
Yeah.
Sierra Madre or somewhere.
Alhambra or
Yeah.
something.
Somehow today, because when I put my
It's like a
mind to it,
producer's house or
yeah,
something.
when I put my mind to it, I was just like, I'm gonna find this.
Oh, you'll find it.
Yeah, because
Oh,
actually I went
yeah.
to then and now locations because I was like, maybe he's found it since, and somebody had commented, why can nobody find this or something like that, and
It was like a gray whale, like, people
yeah,
just
I was
can't.
like, "Where is this?" And so today, every once in a while I just put on. I was like, "I'm going to find this today."
So you
So
just found it today?
I found it today, all the way out in
Nice.
Westlake Village, which is almost Thousand Oaks, so it's about 45 miles away. Don't
Yeah, it's not
Yeah,
even in the vicinity.
no.
Good
Um,
find, though.
yeah, so these are kind of either Google Street View sheet snout shots, or when it was for sale, they
Oh,
did
like a
just
redfin or
yeah,
something?
they did some indoor shots, and I was able to kind of match up
Okay.
kind of there. So there's Ann Dowd there
Yeah.
as the mother, looking very young.
Yeah.
Obviously,
It's been a minute
it's
since,
been a minute since they filmed this,
yeah. What's
but
the
yeah,
actor's name? The father? He's in
Bruce Davison.
that's it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, there's the stairs, and so yeah, and then
good call.
yeah, right across the street. So everything was pretty. It's like
Schwimmer.
it was like this should be an easy find. How hard can it be to find these houses where you have the address?
Hard enough for impossible for most people, but
It
not for the jetter.
I finally I took it on. I figured it out.
I
So
love that you found
just
that.
hot off the press.
Well, the stairway, this balcony,
Yeah.
is an indicator, but when you look at, the street views and everything, it could be anywhere.
Yeah,
Um,
it doesn't quite indicate. Yeah, I would not be. I wasn't naturally looking in Westlake Village for.
right? No. Do you ever go to call sheets or anything if you can get them, or is that like
Yeah,
a
that'd be the
crapshoot?
easiest, but usually some of those things people don't
They
have, or
don't. Right.
they don't sell or have around. But
Yeah. No, great work on that. This is a great page too.
yeah, so
It's a new page.
brand new.
It's brand new. So thanks for sharing that. And it's if you folks want to check it out, if you're listening or just want to check it out some more, go to setjetter.com, which is fantastic. Um, and that'll be our show today. But just want to remind everybody um, to just keep California in your thoughts and prayers, and please continue to donate and look out for your neighbors. And if you live out here, and we're going to get through this, but it's
Mhm.
very very difficult. And please help. Please help while you can.
Yes, donate,
What you can.
donate, donate. These people need help. These workers need help. I mean, I just think about the firefighters and first responders and police and sheriffs, and I can't imagine they've slept at all,
No.
trying to
Yeah.
get through this. And it's just kind of it's too much to keep up with. This isn't a general natural disaster that kind of one and done like our other fires. Um,
Right. Yeah. It's a force of nature. Literally, you're fighting Mother Nature, and
yeah,
it's a lot. So please keep
yeah, yeah.
everyone in mind. And
Oh, I
thank
should
you,
say,
Robert.
yeah. There's a couple of look because I know somebody had commented. So after I posted about it, some people were like wanted me to start cataloging locations of like
To see what's still
to see what's
standing.
still there or what possibly has been destroyed. So,
That's a great idea.
and there's some I just kind of when I look at the map, I'm like, well, this is where the Poltergeist 2 house was. This is where Band Camp was from American Pie.
Oh,
Here's where such, So I was thinking some of these are likely gone, but you never know. Every once in a while,
yeah.
there's a house or two that somehow kind of survives within that.
You
But
do hear about that. Like
yeah,
randomly, a house will
yeah.
not be affected so much.
So like they were asking about the 902. Somebody was asking about the 90210 house. So the Walsh house survived. But I
Oh,
also know the house next to it, the two houses next to it did not. And
really?
so, and then I know Dylan's house is like three houses down across the street, across the corner. So I don't know if that survived. So it'll be a while. It'll be a while before residents are even able to really get in there, let alone public. Um, there, so much devastation. I mean, just so much cleanup and so forth.
And danger too with
Yeah,
structural. You don't know what could um, collapse or
yeah.
structural integrity of it.
Gas
Um,
leaks and everything. So, but yeah. So, anyway. So, but yeah. So I'll be kind of might not be publishing or publicizing too much, but we'll be looking and that's when Sean called. Like I said, we were kind of talking about uh, uh, one. These are there's also some historic, not historically important, but there's some historical landmarks gone, but obviously cinematic landmarks that are gone
yeah,
forever.
yeah. No,
And
there certainly are.
a younger person is like, "Do you think they'll rebuild like the Poltergeist 2 house just like it was?" I'm like, "It's going to be all McMansions." I
It's
mean,
all
yeah,
yeah, it's
yeah,
all gonna be cookie cutter. Are you kidding
yeah.
me?
There will be no more, and that's the sad thing. Like a lot of these
It is sad.
craftsman houses will just that'll be it.
Yeah.
That there will be they won't rebuild like that ever. So
No, because they were built at a certain time in
yeah,
a certain way, and it's all gonna be McMansions,
yeah,
gaudy
yes.
monstrosities.
So ugh.
Ugh, it's nasty.
Yeah,
I just wanted to share real quick the Walsh House because you mentioned this. Um, for folks that want to take a look, Casa Walsh, Beverly Hills 90210, did survive the Eaton fire, and here's what it looks like on better days in
yeah.
Altadena. And Robert's covered this extensively as well.
Mm.
But I'd be very interested in you, seeing your list, and if you need me to do anything or do any reconnaissance,
Yeah,
let me know.
get out there and find these. Make sure,
Let's
but
get out there.
yeah,
I
it
do
would,
have
yeah.
some drones that I'm going to safely
Oh, I should
send
also
up
people
away from the
don't send
fire.
out because I know a drone hit a super scooper plane, and they only have two.
Yeah,
That
don't put
Canada,
your drones up near the
yeah,
fires.
that Canada is graciously loaning us.
Thanks, Canada.
But of course, Americans flying drones where they
Yeah,
shouldn't
no,
be
we got to make a bad name for
and hit
ourselves for our
hit one of
guests.
the wings and so forth. But we're lucky that the plane didn't go down. I mean, that could take a plane down too, but
I know. Just leave
and
your
just make it
fucking
worse.
drones at home.
Anyway,
Play with the drones, but play with them safely away from law enforcement and
go to Orange County
officials.
for that.
Go to where?
So go down to Orange County
Oh
for
yeah,
that.
yeah. Nobody cares about Orange County. Just
I
kidding.
we're kidding.
We love it. But thank you all for tuning in and listening. Robert, thanks for taking the time and for caring and being such a great guy
100%.
as well.
Please donate, people.
Please donate. Check out the links in the description. Keep your evacuation plan in mind if you're local, and just keep everybody in your thoughts and prayers. Thank you all for listening to Set Jetter Saturdays, and we will see you on the set.